up, guys? I am Diz. I get drunk and say things. This is Domino. She judges me harshly, and Locke is on the floor because she ate my shoe. Okay, so first things is that I bought a diffuser for my hair. Never done that before, and I diffused it, and it has been diffused, which means it's curly, kind of wavy, curly, kinky, whatever. It's this. This is whatever that is. Okay, so I was really excited for the movie Eternals to come out because I'm really into the Marvel movies, and so I went with my brother and we saw it, and the whole time I was like, duh. So tonight, since it has recently come out on Disney Plus, which I have, I decided that I really wanted to drink a whole bottle of wine, watch it, and then take a bunch of notes and heavily criticize it, and then bring in my criticisms to you. So I decided to film the intro to this before I watched the movie because I don't really remember the movie. So, but by the end of this, I'm probably not going to remember the movie. So I decided that I'm going to drink every time I'm like, duh, and we'll see how much of this bottle I get through. So if you're watching this, just know, spoilers. There's going to be spoilers. I'm going to say things that are spoiling the movie. I already know that. I haven't even rewatched it. I know that if I get into complaining about it, I'm going to say some things. So if you haven't seen the movie, and don't want anything spoiled, then don't watch an episode of this nonsense that's going to come out of my mouth complaining about a movie. Anyways, I've talked a lot, and I don't want this episode to be too long, and I'm pretty sure I still have a lot to complain about. So, I'm gonna be right back after I drink this and that, because that's energy. This is solid. You can't see it, it's out of frame. Whew. Okay, guys. So, this is what happened. I watched that movie that's like 2 hours and something minutes long, like 3 hours long. Doesn't matter. The point is, I finished the bottle. There's nothing left in my glass. And I have, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages front to back of this nonsense. So, sticking to true "Does having a bad day" fashion, I'm going to put 11 minutes on the clock, and I'm going to go through as many of these complaints as I have. Before we get into this, I organized all my complaints in a manner that makes total sense to me. So I have pluses for things that I think are good in the movie, which there's not a lot. Question marks of all the many questions that I have, and the equal signs are my potentially like legitimate thoughts and things. The equal signs are my thoughts. The negatives are the actual negatives. Now, a lot of the equal signs and negatives are pretty debatable of what's just my thoughts and what's actually negatives about this movie. Sometimes if it's a good movie, it is the other way around. This particular movie, because I find it so not bad. I don't want to say it's bad because bad makes it misleading. Let's put 11 minutes on the clock, and I will tell you guys my personal thoughts on this movie. Ready? Hello, Colin. Go. When it comes to Eternals, my legitimate thoughts. It's not that I find Eternals I do find Eternals a bad movie. Okay. So before we get into this, I just want to start this off by saying they had the most amazing cast and amazing ideas and amazing, which led me to believe originally before I watched the movie this was going to be a great movie. And then it failed me. I mean, you have, who is it, Selma Hayek and Angelina Jolie and Richard Madden. Like, you have these amazing people for this movie? Are you kidding me? Freeloader, we are doing work here. Whatever, she went back to the bathroom heater. Who cares? Okay, the point is, you have these amazing actors who portray these amazing characters, but the stop. In or out, Freeloader, in or out. You have these amazing actors portraying these characters who were kind of half-assed in the script, which was kind of more half-assed, And then this whole idea, which is kind of even more half-assed. My notes from the show. How much time do I have? How much time have I wasted? Ugh. Okay. I have very few pluses on this list. One of the pluses is the first initial of us meeting the team is a fabulous. It's fun for those of us just coming into the whole idea of just seeing the and all of these different powers and all of these different things happening. But I have one question. So for those of them that are left on the ship that were not in the initial battle, which I feel like it was a missed opportunity because a lot of those characters that were still on the ship, we see those characters reoccurring through the whole film, like Sprite, isn't her name Sprite? Whatever, I'm drunk, I don't care. Sprite, we see reoccurring through the whole thing, so it would be fun to have her meet her in the very beginning there, but we didn't, whatever. My point is, the guy that, like, creates his little disc that they all fly down on. My question is, if that guy died, how do they get out of the ship? How does anyone get out of the ship? How does anyone get into the ship? Okay, let's jump into the whole idea of about how, like, all of the ideas of man are not actually the ideas of man. Like, whatever her character... Oh, Cersei. Cersei's character hands the kid a knife made out of metal. Like, that's fucked up. Anybody else think that's fucked up? Like, man didn't create metal, man didn't create the plow, man didn't create the steam engine, but we did create the atomic bomb, which blew up the entire world. That's a little, like, whatever. The first time I watched it, I thought that he created the atomic bomb, and the second time I watched it, I realized that he's, like, pouting over all of the advancements that he has given humanity, and then we created the atomic bomb. So the true destruction is our doing as humankind, but he built us up to that. Like, I don't know. The whole idea, and I'm still confused, is it the people, numbers of people, like the population that matters, or is it the knowledge of the population that matters to create the celestial being that's growing in our planet? Like, I'm still so unbelievably confused. Because when you start looking up the population, what are you doing, freeloader? Interrupting your 11 minutes. I still am not sure. I know I'm drunk, so it may say in the movie. Whether it's population or our knowledge that feeds the Eternal. I know that the Eternal is drawing from our energy. But which energy do you want? Do you want people or do you want our knowledge? Because I feel like those are two way different energies. I don't understand what you want from me, movie, and the fact that I've walked away from it twice now, still not understanding, irritates me. Ooh, yes. So I put a plus sign here for Kit Harington's ass, which may I say is quite delightful. Okay, continuing on. Why is Sprite a child? Like, why is that a thing? Just so she can turn into a human at the end of the movie, and then in the next movie we find out why Sprite was a child all along? I don't know. I don't understand why the Celestial would be like, yeah, I'm gonna have a kid character. Why? Wouldn't you want all of your Eternals to look and appear as adults so that people would naturally follow them? If there's not something that a Celestial would understand, is that in any culture, adults are viewed more as a predominant character, more as a character that you would follow than a child. So if you're trying to progress a race or a culture or a species, so that's where I'm looking for species. If you're trying to progress a species from this to this, whether it be population wise or energy, thought-provoking, power-wise, like the atomic bomb, if you're trying to get a species from here to there, you would not use a child image at all. You would want them to follow, to believe, to create. You wouldn't want something that was viewed as young and stupid, unintelligent, like a child. So I don't fully understand why there is even a child Eternal. Oh, God, yes, okay. The powers are extremely inconsistent. So, in the beginning, I know that they're fighting... Oh, no! You know what? I don't even care. The Eternals are fighting deviants that are, like, not absorbing the powers of Eternals, but at the same time, their powers are still inconsistent. So in the same battle scene, you'll see like Icarus shooting with his eyes laser beams that destroy one deviant, but they don't destroy another, and I'm super confused on why that's a thing. Is one deviant stronger than the other? Blah, blah, blah. My point is, why don't you explain it to me? If that's going to be a thing where some deviants are stronger than others and some can take more damage than other deviants, then that should be explained somehow, somewhere, other than sometimes his laser eyes kill a deviant, while other times his laser eyes don't kill a deviant. And that's within the same battle scenes. So it's not like we're talking like these deviants who haven't absorbed the powers of other celestials compared to this battle scene where they've started absorbing the powers of other celestials. I don't understand why why the damage is so much different. For some characters it makes more sense, like Cersei is like discovering more power that she has within her and is able to transform things that she wasn't able to transform before. That makes sense, but others doesn't make sense. Another point I want to bring up is that, oh my god, I did not pick up this character's name, but he's probably my favorite character. The one that is the actor, hold on, we'll Google it. I like how when you toss in the Eternals cast, Harry Styles is the first one to pop up, when in actuality he's just in the ending credits as Star Fox. I just want to toss that out there. I don't think he should be first in the line here. Kingo's character, I'm probably saying his name wrong because I'm drunk and reading. You're welcome. Anyways, I don't even know what we're saying anymore. Oh, his character, he would take, I timed it out to be like 15 seconds. 15 seconds movie time to create this ball that would blow a deviant's head off. Why the fuck didn't he do that more often? Seriously. If he could create these balls of energy that would blow up deviants' whatever parts, you would think he would be blowing up at least their head, if not their wieners, so they couldn't procreate. Is anybody else thinking about this? Where are all these deviants coming from? They are breeding. If they can breed, why can't Eternals breed? I know what you're thinking, because Eternals are robots and deviants are what? That's a good question. What are they? Are they like robots like the Eternals are, or are they like actual people and species like we are? Can they procreate, or is there a set amount of them? What the hell? So out of the group of Eternals, you have one that is deaf. Wholeheartedly support that shit. My issue is the fact that these people who deem her family aren't signing in her presence. I don't know why. It could just, like I said, it could just be that I'm drunk, but like I got really mad about that. So mad to rewatch this part of the movie so many times, because like I would get into it and I'm drunk and I would get mad that they weren't signing for her. They just expect her to read their lips. Like, no. All of them would know sign language because they're all communicating with her on a personal level. So why aren't they signing while they're talking? Because it's not a thing that we do in our culture. Sign language is not a thing we do in our culture. So they're not going to sign because this movie is not based on any sort of actual reality. This movie is based on these fictional characters, and nevertheless, I'm just irritated. I'm still irritated. I'm so irritated that I'm still talking about it. Like, seriously, I don't know how long I've been talking about this, but I've been talking about it for a while, and I'm very irritated that they wouldn't think of that. It just pisses me off. I'm sorry. This movie paraded around that it was so inclusive and it was so exclusive that it pissed me off. Okay, guys. So I restarted, I continued on because I hadn't even got to the super awkward sex scene. Let's talk about the super awkward sex scene. So, Marvel does not have sex scenes, but this one does. Okay, so the weirdness for me about this sex scene is not just the awkwardness of the sex scene itself, where it's just like, oh, these two characters have sex. It's the two most beautiful characters. They're the ones that have sex. But some of the other love stories in the movie are so much more, I don't know, heartfelt and they didn't have a sex scene. So Athena and Gilgamesh, that's his name. Okay, so those two characters have such a deeper love from my perspective just watching the movie, because here she is losing her mind and he's willing to give up his whole existence to take care of her, to be there for her, to be her caregiver or whatever. That is a more deep found love than I found the other two's, Circe and Icarus's love story to be. So Circe and Icarus is just a sex scene, and then she gives up on him and starts dating Kit Harington. Then you have the other characters that we see a love story for. You have I'm so bad with the characters' names that I just put lines down. Hold on. Dude, I'm too drunk to read. So you have the character who can manifest the metal that landed everybody, that has all this knowledge. Okay, so you have him and his husband, and I find that their love story is more captivating than the two main characters, which is a huge problem because they're the fucking main characters, the Icarus and Circe. So, but when you look at the guy who can create the metals and the knowledge, and his compassion for his partner and his son and their love story, like, where the fuck is their sex scene? Okay? I believe way more that these two have a more profound, more deep connection and love for each other than the Icarus and fucking what's-her-nuts' compassion and love for each other. Like, I don't understand why we have these two beautiful characters. We have their sex scene, but we don't have these other characters' sex scene. Like a gay couple sex scene? Heaven fucking forbid. He's not fat. I don't want to call him fat, but he doesn't fit the parameters of what we deem as sexy. He's no Richard fucking Madden, but he's a beautiful man. And for God's sake, she's Angelina Jolie. How many sex scenes have we seen her in? Heaven fucking forbid we see Angelina Jolie have sex with some guy that is not the perfect body type. Like, their love story is far more profound, and I feel far more connection to these two other relationships than I did with Icarus and Circe. I just feel like that sex scene was forced and awkward and weird, and a weird, like, I don't know. Okay, so the way I look at sex scenes is now, more than ever, is more just like a forced sexual whatever for the actors portraying these characters. So you have two beautiful actors who are the ones that are in this sex scene in a Marvel movie. So of all movies to fall for this sex trap, for lack of better terms, you have these two beautiful actors doing it. Dizzy, you're drunk. No, my point still is valid. Regardless of the fact that I'm intoxicated, it's still valid. Why is it, for one, that we have a sex scene in a Marvel? Stop! I've got a good point going on here. Time machine, okay? Why do we have the two characters in a sex scene in a Marvel movie? Why is that? Why do we have a sex scene in a Marvel movie? Point. The second point is, why is it the two most beautiful, standard of beauty characters doing it? Okay? That's a little debatable because Angelina Jolie versus whatever. My point still stands. It is two beautiful people doing it in a movie compared to two not as beautiful people, standard of beauty wise, in a movie doing it. But I would much rather have seen the character build up between these two, between the Icarus and Circe. The only true love that we got was like Icarus getting involved in like making food and having sex. Like, that's it. It's just food and sex that built their relationship, which personally seems a bit shallow to me, but whatever, because without the sex, you take the sex scene away, we just have the food scene and like, I care about you a lot. Sex scenes aren't that important, Hollywood. Okay, my next couple points are kind of dumb, and I get that. But why is Circe the only one that's obsessed with her phone? You would think that, like, Sprite would be obsessed with their phone or whatever, but, like, Circe's the only one. Second disease, when Athena's going nuts, was it just me? I really hope, my back itches, but I really hope this stays in the episode. So Athena's going nuts and is going whatever it's called, and then all of a sudden Ajax is like, remember who you are. Did anybody else think Lion King on that one? Because here I am, she's like, remember who you are, and I'm like, Mufasa? Oh my god, have I only got through one page? Jesus Christ. Okay, I know that this thought kind of tears the whole movie apart, but if whatever the Celestial's name is that created the Eternals to create other Celestials, he created the Deviants too. So why would he continue to put Deviants on other planets? I also got super frustrated at the fact that Ajax didn't come back. So here, Athena talked about how they all were destroyed and then they came back, and her whatever mental illness led her to remember the previous life that she had. But here Ajax died and didn't come back. Why is that? Do they only reboot when they get on another planet? Like, why didn't he reboot Ajax at the point before she was murdered by Icarus, so that she had all of those memories prior to, and then started from there? Or why didn't he reboot her from the point where she started deviating from the plan? You think he wouldn't know that she was deviating from the plan? That's another thing that I didn't fully understand. Damn it! How she was able to deviate from the plan of being able to ignite or release the new Celestial when she, like, her mind was straying. How did he not know? He has a direct connection to her through her throat with that little orb thing. Or does that orb thing not have the powers that I think that orb thing should? Doesn't matter. It was never explained, and that shit always irritates me. My mind goes in many places, and if you don't answer those questions, I get really frustrated. Because if you are not thinking thoroughly through all of your different plot holes, you leave me to poke holes in it, and it just makes me upset. What does exactly that ball do? Okay, does it give her, Ajax, a connection or not? Does that give her control or not? And on that note, if Ajax is the one in control over who that ball goes to, whether it goes to Circe or Icarus, why? She is dead. Wouldn't you think the guy who's in control over it, which I can't think of his name, but the Celestial that's watching and keeping an eye on all of this shit that's going down, if Ajax is dead, why doesn't he have control over that ball? He's the one that inserted it into Ajax, so you would think he's the one in control of it, but Ajax gets to pick who the ball goes into, even though she's dead. I don't understand. Is she dead or not? Is a part of her living on, and that part of her gets to choose? How would Ajax even know what's going on? And I know that robots are different than living people. I hear you, but it still doesn't compute. If Hiroshima has this great plan of raising all these Celestials and other planets, why wouldn't you just tell your Eternals what the plan is? Like, hey, I'm sending you guys in there to raise up the people power or knowledge or whatever it is of this planet so that we can pop out another Celestial. Why wouldn't he say that? Why wouldn't he say that so he could get them on board so they would never turn against him? Like, why wouldn't this be a thing? Why is this not a thing? With people, if you raise children to believe a thing and then continuously force those ideals on them, they will believe it. Unless they meet something else that teaches them something different. It would have been more interesting for me, personally, to have these Eternals believe this thing and then come into the civilization and watch us grow and then be like, fuck, the thing we have been taught all along is wrong. We need to do this thing instead. Would have been more interesting than watching them not know anything and then find out some things and be like, this is great. This is stupid. This is stupid to watch. It could have been better. And I'm very upset, Marvel. Very upset. So was many other people. right? Oh my god, I still have so many pages. This might also be like a weird complaint. But I much rather watch emotions unfold and emotions be emotions than rather than just hugs. I feel like there are so many hugs in this movie where there should be verbal communication and like actual things, and I totally blame the writers and directors for this. Because two characters would have all these emotional things, just and instead they're like, hug me. No! No! I want to see these two brilliant actors communicate these emotions and complexities rather than just hug. Like, a hug is such a simplified way of showing, like, conjoined emotions and connections that it makes me not feel like those emotions and connections are actually being made because these two people are just hugging. Not actors portraying characters. I want to see the emotion. I want to hear the dialogue. I don't want you to take the easy way out and just, oh, you guys should hug here. Insert hug here. No! Okay. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what points I've made and what points I haven't made at this point because this is really starting to kick in. So I guess I want to reiterate some points if I have already made them and make some points if I haven't already made them. So, what was my point? I got really confused at the ends ish because the movie's really long. When the characters started picking sides of like Icarus or Cersei, and I don't fully understand why more of them didn't choose Icarus's side, realistically, because so many of them had chosen to not be so a part of the human culture, but at a weird level they were all like sentimental towards the human culture, and I guess it just goes back to why wouldn't Aramish, whatever his nuts is, why wouldn't he just raise all these Eternals into knowing what they're doing? And I didn't understand the whole like cultural thing behind the show where they were like, we're all inclusive, yet then they spiraled right into the same shit that we have been watching all along. So it's not even inclusive. Okay, fine. You had a person who is deaf, but you didn't actually show what it is like to be around or to be in a family of someone who is deaf. That was stupid. You showed a gay character, but you didn't actually show a gay character. You had 2 seconds worth of his life on the movie, like compared to the 3-hour long movie. Like, you didn't actually show anything. You gave us one small smooch between the two characters, and you mentioned that they had a son, and you had a little bit of interaction with him, but you didn't actually show anything. You didn't include them as if it was normal, as if it was an everyday thing, like it is. Deaf people are everywhere. Gay people are everywhere. And the fact that they don't get the same inclusivity, is that a word? Inclusivity? Whatever. The fact that it still felt to me like they were outside. Like so your sex scene that was this crazy thing that everybody's been talking about on the internet, how awkward it was, and why is there a sex scene in a Marvel movie, and blah, blah, blah. Why is there a sex scene in a Marvel movie? That's a good question. Marvel movies are made for children. Why are we putting a sex scene in a children's movie? Is it just me? Or did those things feel forced? I don't think my drunk self can explain this the way that I really mean it. We are just people. We are just people the way that we are. And it's not that we need to accept it. It's that it's not about needing to accept things. It's about just, I guess, accepting ourselves in a way that society hasn't accepted, I guess. I don't know, which I don't fully understand. I've always believed that everybody's gay. Everybody's at least a little gay, and that's okay. Like, I don't understand why it felt for me watching this that was a side note. And it felt for me so angrily, and I wasn't even raised with a person who is deaf. My mom just had a deaf kid down the street, and I still have this weird connection to this. Like, if they were in a family of someone who is deaf, they would all be signing to make her feel included. This movie had such high hopes about inclusivity. Is that a word? Still don't know. Haven't Googled it, doesn't matter. When it didn't feel that way, it still felt forced, and I think that's my issue. Why do things still feel forced? Why is this not natural in the movie world? Why are we still following these stupid guidelines of the hottest guy and the hottest girl? Those are the ones doing it. Doesn't matter. I have talked way too much. My drunk self has gone way over time limit. So let's reboot this in this shit, because I plan on recording other videos tonight, and so you guys are just gonna see me super drunk shaving my leg in potentially the episode before this or the episode after. I did not plan this episode, it just kind of happened. I have other episodes planned, so we'll see how this one actually works into the equation of everything going on, and we'll see how much I actually record with my drunk self tonight. So on that note, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you like me, hit subscribe. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. If you really just like Dom or Locke, I don't even think you guys saw Locke in this episode. You can follow both of them on Instagram at Just Having a Bad Day. And thank you for watching. Stick around for the nonsense that's going to come out of my mouth for the next 3 minutes and 15 seconds. I just spent like 3 hours watching a movie, and I don't know what I really gained from this, like life points, like my life points. I don't even know what I gained YouTube points by this. There's definitely a thing of like my life points versus my YouTube points. At this point in time, I don't have a lot of YouTube points, but I feel like I have a lot more lifetime points because I've been around for a hot minute. So, after I watched it the first time, I thought it was a bad movie, so I got drunk and watched it a second time. But that's like 3 hours of my life. That's like 6 hours of my life I'm never getting back. But the first 3 hours, I was like willing participant because Richard Madden's hot. So I guess that's why I was willing to waste another 3 hours of my life, because, well, I guess I could stare at him for another couple hours. Sure, for you guys, you bet. You bet, no problem. I have no problem with staring at him for another couple hours to vent to you guys about how stupid I thought that movie was. I guess I could do another one of his movies for you guys, but I don't think there's another one of his movies that's this stupid. Not that I'm disappointed in him, because I think he did a brilliant job, but at the same time, I still think the movie's stupid. I actually don't think any of the actors did a bad job. I think all of the actors did an outstanding job. I just think the movie was stupid. Which is a bummer, because they had like this all amazing cast for this stupid movie. Yeah, I think that's the worst, where they just have like an amazing cast in a really stupid movie. Get all of our hopes up for stupid. It's really disappointing. I blame the writers and the directors and stuff. I don't even know them. I probably shouldn't be talking smack about people I don't know. That might bite me in the ass. But at the same time, why did you make such a stupid movie? Okay, I love you. Bye-bye. I'm drunk.